Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. In this week's technical analysis, I've taken a lot of the clutter off the charts and the fib projections that I had to the upside. At the moment, we're looking to try and pick the bottom, and we're still in a bit of a bear market. So last week we were trading around 25.60, and we'd broken this downtrend line here, but we had just started to roll over, and I spoke about how I was surprised that the Bitcoin price had been holding up so well, and I was really expecting the Bitcoin fork headlines to provide more of a sort of headwind for the Bitcoin price, and we're really starting to see that play out now. And I think I mentioned for Bitcoin and Ethereum that if we did break, I was expecting a bit of a waterfall to the downside, and that's certainly played out now. As we've had these big sell-off again yesterday, and we've got below 2,000 now, but that sort of 23.15 level did provide a bit of a bounce there, but a real sharp sell-off now. Below 2100 was that next 50% sort of fib I was looking for, and I spoke about a few weeks ago, if this head and shoulders pattern plays out, we're definitely looking down sort of in the 1800s, and there's still a possibility if these cycles stay true, which they have been playing out really well lately. We've got another sort of few days here or a week to the downside before we get a big push up again from this bracket, but I think we're really starting to get into good value for long-term buy and hold here, and the risk to the downside is a lot less. Okay, the risk to reward for future upsides in years to come, and even in a worst case scenario, if Bitcoin does fork to two coins, it's still gonna have a bright future. Okay, and those developers can do what they want with each individual coin. So now with the Ethereum chart, again last week we spoke about this downtrend line and the waterfall. If we do break down, I think we're trading around 2030 at the time, and sure enough we've broken down, had that real waterfall there with that bracket pushing down. We did get a bit of a bounce there, but rolling over again now, and I had some more buy orders set at 206 and 190. They obviously got filled, and I wasn't expecting Ethereum to get this low, and I'm still a bit surprised that the high correlation we're seeing with all the other coins selling off with Bitcoin. And if you've bought good coins with good fundamentals, there's no reason for those to be selling off hard just because Bitcoin's selling off. And I think we're going to see that correlation change in the coming weeks as we approach August 1st, as some of these other coins with really good quality projects are getting really cheap now with strong fundamentals. So something else I'll be watching. And again, I spoke about that if we got down to 129, I'd be really looking to back the truck up and really add aggressively to my portfolio. And these cycle brackets hold true. This one bottoms here on the 23rd of the 7th before we get two brackets pushing up again, which is at least provided a bounce, if not a big push up in the last few cycles here. So that's what I'll be looking at. Again, the risk to reward here, I don't see another 50% to the downside, but I easily see 50% or more to the upside, especially in the coming years. So these things are starting to get really good value, and we've started to see some smart money and some big orders come in on exchanges for these coins. So Litecoin still remains the strongest chart. A couple of pennants here that we've just broken out strongly to each time again. Broken down this time, but on the long term, this trend line goes all the way back to when we were down at $3 or $4 here. So we're really just testing that trend line now. I'd like to see that take off again. And Litecoin, again, the fundamentals should be getting stronger for Litecoin. With all these Bitcoin issues, a lot of people I thought would be moving into Litecoin and other coins for safety, but we're still seeing them all sell off, and I really think we're going to break that correlation. We've seen $300 million flow into the US dollar tether. A lot of money sitting on the sidelines. Guys getting scared. Okay, it's all sort of starting to play out the way we thought it was going to, but I'm really surprised that some of these good coins are selling off just because Bitcoin's selling off. And that's, to me, is the market panicking, not the fundamentals changing, which is what we want to look for as sort of value investors. So that trade that I've been in for a while now, again, just keeps breaking to the upside. We're testing that longer term trend line now, possibly just breaking out above it again now. We've got these two cycle brackets pushing up. Last week, I think I spoke about how I thought we could muck around or pull back for a few days here. We get the last of these two brackets pushing down, and sure enough, we got that. But this chart here just shows that Litecoin isn't performing as badly as Bitcoin, but again, really think that we could see Litecoin move strongly to the upside and all other altcoins break this correlation with Bitcoin. That's the thing I'm looking for. Finally, that's it as far as technical analysis, but I just wanted to add this on at the end here. We're seeing Google searches for hard fork have quadrupled just in the last couple of weeks, and this just goes to show that the new guys that have got into this space over the last month or two weren't aware of these issues, and they are panicking and moving to the sidelines. And I think we're going to see a monster rally to the upside once all these issues are behind us in the whole crypto space. And we're starting to see articles like this. Bitcoin could be nearing a total meltdown, and that's what we want to look for as far as gauging sentiment. When everyone's starting to get panicky, these mainstream sites are putting out headlines like this, I know we're starting to get near the bottom. And a lot of guys have asked me, how do you pick a bottom? And I just want you to realize that whatever price you see, this low of a candle wick, it means that only one trade has taken place at that point. And if someone says to me, oh, I should have bought in at 1942 when Bitcoin hit that price, I try to tell them that it's impossible. It's literally impossible for everyone to get filled at that price. There might only be one or two coins trade on live volume on one exchange at this price that you see show up in candles and in your apps that show the price in your portfolios and whatnot. So if we ever get within 10 or 20% of the bottom, okay, that's really good as a trader. So try not to bottom pick. Not everyone's going to get filled anywhere near the bottom of the price, okay? Try to look long term. I know it's hard to see your portfolios red every day, but I really think this is testing us, and the smart money's moving in. We're seeing the articles about institutional funds starting to buy coins for their clients. We know these guys haven't taken big positions in yet. We knew there was a correction coming. I'm not sure how long it's got left. It might only be days or a couple of weeks now, but stick in there. I'm sure we'll be rewarded in the long term if we hold on to our coins and you've invested in good quality projects with good long-term fundamentals. So thanks for tuning in, guys.